Kicking it with the Vito. What up, guys? It is your boy, Mr. Vito and
Mrs. Vito.
All right, and we are here to share with you a couple of more tips on this lovely, lovely, lovely sunny afternoon. And these are relationship tips for people who are trying to figure out the best way to
Conflict resolute.
Yes, exactly. So conflict resolution. 3 tips for conflict resolution.
3 tips. Why do you have 2 fingers up?
Okay. 3 tips for conflict resolution.
3 tips for conflict resolution.
All right, cool. Let's do this. All right, so number one,
when you're in the heat of the moment, some people find that quite, intimidating,
right,
or they find it difficult to speak because they're getting so hot tempered, angry, etc. So actually it's probably best if they take some time out from the situation. So it's okay to take 5 minutes, to take 10 minutes, just to calm down, to cool off, and to think, so that you can kind of deal with the matter at hand effectively. So
there's no use in you sort of hammering until...
I was literally going to say another word, but go on.
Okay, no, sorry, go ahead.
I would encourage...
This is what happens when we argue, but yeah, go ahead.
I would encourage the other person not to take it as that the person's trying to run away, but to look at it from the perspective that if you want to resolve this issue, you both have to work with each other. So if he wants to address it right this moment, but I need 5 minutes of airtime, then what is the best thing to do? Because if we continue, we don't want to do something that we regret. So you kind of have to respect that.
All right, and thank you. And tip number 2 is be careful what you say, because the words that you say during and in the midst of an argument can really not only damage your partner's view of you, but they can also brood and breed new arguments in the future. Because people, unfortunately or strangely enough, when they argue and say harmful words or receive harmful words, don't forget. So usually it could spark off another conflict at another time. What you don't want to do is to literally have a war every time you're arguing because of things you said in the last argument that are now being brought forward to the next argument. So you don't want that. You don't want arguments that carry forward into your new discussions. So be careful what you say, and because you will be held accountable as well. And your spouse has every right to say, but last time you said. They have every right to say that. So you have to choose your words wisely. Think before you speak. Before you lose your temper, think as well.
You don't want to start disrespecting that person. Person that you claim to love, that you want to be with. You know, it's not nice.
No. And it depends on when you want to end up, in the divorce court or renewing your vows again. Come on, somebody, work with me. Yes. All right. So tip number 3.
Be open and honest. Whilst you're having this conflict, whilst you're going through it, it's okay to say something like, when you didn't open the door for me, it really hurt my feelings because it made me feel as though you didn't notice me or you didn't care about me, rather than you didn't open the door, who the heck do you think you are? You know, it allows the other person to actually see into your heart and to see the actual offense, because sometimes we offend each other daily, and we don't know it.
Man said daily.
In the small things, but sometimes you just choose to ignore it, you leave it, it's not that big of an issue. But those bigger ones that you want to talk about, that you address, it's good to just have a well-rounded view and opinion on that person. So if I know that it's affected you because of certain emotions or experiences and things, it can really, I have a better understanding.
Right. So that openness is to, like you said, help the person understand where you're coming from, as opposed to bottling it in until you shake a little bit and the situation starts shaking you, and then before you know it, boom, you explode. And your partner is looking at you like, what in the heck is this?
Yeah.
And you get labeled as crazy. Meanwhile, it's actually small moments that have created this big explosion.
Exactly.
So never for a second assume that the things that are hurting your heart should be kept in your heart. It's things that you should find ways to communicate. And also remember that being open and honest doesn't mean being rude, disrespectful, obnoxious, speaking to the person in a condescending manner, and belittling them in the process of you trying to express your vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. That's not going to make the other person take you more seriously. In fact, when they take you seriously, they may start insulting you. So you don't want a situation where you've opened your heart and then your partner is now throwing words at you that are hindering future vulnerability.
Likewise.
Yeah.
If you feel that you can't be open and honest, you can't show that inner you can't be vulnerable to that person, you need to check why. Because it may be something little was, oh, I don't think they'll understand, they don't get it, find the best way to explain it. Or it may be that as soon as I do open myself, as soon as I am vulnerable, they disrespect me, they mock me, they make me feel less than I am. And if that's the case, you really need to think about whether or not that's the right relationship for you.
That's right. Remember, perfect love casts out fear. So there's got, and perfect love is something that has matured over time. So the more vulnerable you are, the better your experience is supposed to be, as opposed to getting worse with your vulnerability. Does that make sense? Because you don't want a situation or relationship that's going to fuel your insecurities subtly. Okay, so you don't want a fear-driven relationship. You want a love-driven relationship.
Exactly.
And a love-driven relationship thrives on openness and honesty and good choice of words, communication, and keeping the door of communication open.
Yes.
Yeah? All right, so thank you so much for spending a bit of time with us on this lovely day. And we shall see you real soon.
Thank you.
There's more to come. Thank you. Make sure you subscribe, click like, share the video. Let other people know that we're about to start doing some different things. Okay, no, of course, these people do YouTube videos all the time. But we're on the scene. All right, we love you. We'll see you on the other side. Peace and love.
Bye.
Bye.